Hi folks. So a short while ago, TIDRADIO or TIDRADIO, I'm actually not sure how to pronounce that, sent me a handheld radio. It's TD-H3 for review purposes, and they sent it free of charge. So those reviews are going to be paid promotions. But at the moment, I didn't want to do a review until I fully explored the radio, and came across a problem with some of the firmware that is meant to program it and configure it and all that sort of stuff. And it is this program here. It's the power tuning application. Now, I did some research. I couldn't get this to work. No matter what I did, I could not get it to work. And I did some online searching and I came across Andreas's videos, M0FXB, where he was trying to get this going and he couldn't manage it either. So there's obviously some kind of issue with this software. So we're going to explore this and see if we can figure out what's going on. So I'll show you what happens. Select the COM port there, and COM24. This is the port that I am actually using at the moment, COM24, and that's connected to the radio via a programming cable. I'm not using the USB-C port on the radio for this because I've been having a little bit of trouble with it and I'm still investigating what's going on there, but it seems to work flawlessly with a regular programming cable. So I'm just going to be using that. Well, when I say flawlessly, it doesn't work with this obviously, but I think this is a problem with the software, not with the cable. So if I try and read now, you can see it just hangs and eventually it'll time out with an error. There we go. Right, and no matter what I try, it always does that. Now, just to show that the system is working, I'm just going to start the normal programming software. I'm going to select COM24, that's right, and I'm going to click read, and you can see it's reading fine. And there we go. So I've got nothing really on this radio at the moment. I'm still exploring it, but you can see there it's communicating with the radio perfectly fine. So there's no problem with the cable or anything like that. So what I've done here is, this is the program that's basically installed from the installer, and what I've done is I've copied the program folder out onto my desktop, and the reason for that is because it installs into program files and you need administrator rights to start tinkering around in there. So I've copied it out onto my desktop so I don't need admin rights to, you know, fiddle with these files, but it'll still run. So if I run this here, just get rid of that. Now, COM24, okay, and we'll just try this again, read, and again, nothing. It just hangs with its mouth open. There we go, nothing. Now, one thing I have noticed here, if I go back into COM here to select the COM port, there is something peculiar. See here? COM1 and COM24 are selected. Now, that's a bit of a red flag there, and it's a bit of a clue as to what's going on. So what I think is happening is it's somehow resetting the COM port that you've selected back to COM1. So when you try and read, it's not using your selected COM port, it's using COM1 instead. Or the first one in this list maybe. But I think that's what's going on here. So we're going to try and investigate and see if we can figure out why this is happening. So I'm going to use Cheat Engine here. Now, Cheat Engine isn't just for giving yourselves infinite lives in games. It's actually a pretty capable monitor and disassembler. And it's sort of the first line of attack that I generally use. I mean, you can go deeper and start using IDA Pro and stuff like this, but most of the time, this Cheat Engine can get the job done. It's a very, very nice little program. So what are we going to have a look at first? Well, let's first attach this process. So there it is there. Okay. So this program isn't written in C# or anything. I think it's written in C++. And if it's trying to open a COM port, the way that's actually done at this level is the COM ports are opened like a file, right? So it will use the Windows kernel call, create file, read file, write file, and set options and things like that. So what I want to do is intercept the call that opens the serial port and see if we can figure out why this is happening. So in order to do that, let me go into memory view here. And we're going to enumerate the DLLs. And we're going to be looking in kernel 32 because that's where the call is. And we're going to search for create a file. And there's like A and W for different bit widths of the string, but I think it's probably going to be using create file A because this looks like a very basic application. So we'll get there and we'll show this in the disassembler. Now I'm just going to shrink this down because we might need that address again. So I'll just keep that over here. I've also got a notepad open here so that I can copy information into it if I need it. All right, so let's set a breakpoint here. All right. And we'll explore what's happening. So another thing that might be going on here, when you open a COM port, if it's just a COM 1 to 9, you know, it's only got one numerical digit, you can just open it as like COM 1 or COM 2. But if it has any more digits than that, it's like COM 13 or COM 28, then it has to, you have to put like 2 backslashes, a dot and a backslash before the COM port name, otherwise it won't work. So that might have something to do with it if they've neglected to do that. But we'll see where we go. So first of all, let's just do a comp. Oh, there we go. We've broken out. All right, so let's show the full stack here. So the first address on the stack is going to be the return address, and then the next will be the parameter that's being sent to create files. So let's take a look at what's being sent in there. Now we can see COM 1. Okay. So when we click this COM button, it's trying to open COM 1, 2, 3. Oh, right. Yeah. So what it looks like this is doing, yeah, it's just going through, can you see there? It's just going through all the COM ports. It's trying to open them. And I'm assuming what it's doing is it's trying to see if they'll open. And if they do open, then it's saving them so that it can show you a list of available COM ports. So yeah, that kind of makes sense. COM 9. Ah, there, see? When it went to COM 10, it's now putting this slash dot slash. Wow, try saying that fast. Before the COM port name. So it looks like it is actually doing that correctly. So that's probably not the issue. Okay, this probably might go on for a while. So I'm going to take this breakpoint off there and just let it carry on. All right. So select COM24, that's correct. Ah, that's interesting. See there, that changed to 24. Okay, now it's changed back. Let's try COM13. Yeah, 1-3. Now that's a string. That's not a that's not a value. That's a string. Okay. Let's go back to a single digit COM port. COM3. Yeah, it's changed to a 3. It's not persisting here, so this is obviously just, where's a stack? No, it's not there. So this is probably some, you know, just area that's used for all sorts of things. Okay. I think it must be being stored somewhere else in memory. So we can actually use Cheat Engine's cheat function for this. So we're going to search for a string. What are we set for at the moment? We're set at 24. Okay, let's just make sure we've got this done correctly. So I'm going to set com13. Right, now I'm going to search for 13 in text. Okay, and it's found 42 instances of 1.3. So let's now change the COM port to something else. So I'm going to change it to 24, and we'll see which of these values has changed. It looks like only one has there. And that actually looks like the same. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's the same address. Yeah, A08. And nothing else has changed there. So if we were to click read now, yeah, it's gone away altogether because it's got overwritten with some other garbage. So it's not being saved elsewhere as a string by the look of it. So it might be being saved as a value. So let's try that out. So we'll set the COM port back to 13 again. And this time we'll scan for, let's just scan for a byte. Okay. And we've got over 1,000 of those. Lovely. Okay, now let's change the COM port to 24. All right, and next scan 24. And that's good. Let's save that. We found one value. All right, let's keep changing it and see if this value follows what we set. So COM12. Yep, it's changed to 12. COM3. Yep, that definitely looks like it. That's where it's storing the selected COM port. So let's set this back to 24. Yep. And we'll do a read. Okay. Click read. Ah. See that? It set it back to 1. So I think that is the problem. At least it's a very good candidate for being the issue. Because that shouldn't be happening. You shouldn't be setting it back to 1, should it? Let's go into read mode first. Oh, I need to change the COM port, don't I? Okay, change this back to 24. Yep, that's changed. We'll go into read mode and then we'll put a monitor on this address and find out what's actually setting it back to 1. Okay, read. There we go. Let's take a look at that. Okay, so it looks like this instruction is what's doing it. Now we've got 1 in brackets there. That's not a real comment. That's just an implied comment. So I'm gonna theorize that that's going to change to 24 in that column. Yep. Okay. Let's drop a breakpoint on this instruction here, and we'll see if I change the COM port again. We'll see if we stop at this location. No. So it isn't actually executing this instruction when we change the COM port. click read, and then click read, and there we've stopped at this breakpoint. Let's carry on running. Okay, so it's only executing it once by the look of it. And yeah, then we get the error. So it looks like, yeah, EAX is being okay. So there's obviously something going on deeper than this, but I think this should be enough to get it working. If we just stop this instruction from executing, so we could just nop over it, it then won't reset that value back to 1. So let's set it to 24. Okay, so we're set back to 24, and we've got a breakpoint on this. So let's go to read, hit read, right? So our value at the moment is still 24. We'll step over that instruction, and the value should now be 1. It is. So we'll set it back to 24. Okay. Now let's hit run. Well, I don't know what that means, but it looked like it just, yeah, it has. These have changed to +1, look. And all these values in this column are different. So yes, it's actually read it. So I think if we just get rid of this instruction here and just replace it with no operations, it should fix the problem. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take all of that there, and I'm going to copy it into my notepad here. And it's this instruction here. That's the culprit. So let's get rid of that breakpoint. And I'm going to nop that instruction out. There we go. All right, let's go back to this. Make sure we've got the right comport selected. I'm going to reset all this data so we can see if it's read it properly or not. So you can see these two are zeros. Data in this column, just take note of that. Right, we'll click read. And there you go. It's read it. So can we write it back? Well, I assume that's worked. We can test that actually. So if we set this value to something, let's say set it to +10. Let's write that. Okay. Then we'll reset all the data and click read. Yes, there we go, +10. Let's just set this back to what it was before, +1. And write that. Now, I don't know what all this is yet. I still need to do some research, but I just wanted to make sure I could get this application working. Now, we still need to fix it because it's no good having to run Cheat Engine every time I want to run this application. So, but we've got the information we need, I think, here. So let's shut all this down. Yeah, so I've got enough info there to get back to the same point. So close that. Okay. So let's see if we can fix this executable. So I'm going to launch my hex editor here. And we're going to drop the exe into the hex editor. All right, so the instruction we're looking for is this byte sequence. So let's see if we can find that in here. No. So what are we on? 4853. A344D3 4500. Yeah, that's it. A3 44 D3 4500. That's it. So if you have the same version of this software as me, if you just follow along here, put it into a hex editor and then navigate to 4853 and you should see the sequence here, A344 D3 4500. So if I change these all to 90s, it's not letting me change it. What an idiot. Of course, it's running. Absolute moron. Okay, let's try again. 4853. There it is. So we need all of this replaced with 90. Okay. 90, 90, 90, 90, 90. Make sure I've got that right. So the next byte after it should be 8B. Yeah. Okay, file, save, close. All right, let's see if we now have a working application. Comport. COM24, okay, read, and there we go. We have fixed it. So that's how you do it. I'll put full instructions in the description on how to hex edit this file to get it to work. I won't distribute this executable, right, because that's a bit dodgy, like throwing EXEs around and saying, yeah, it's fine, mate. So I'll just let you do the hex editing yourself, but it's easy enough to do. Just grab hold of something like HXD, load it in, go to the offset, overwrite it with 9 zeros, and you're good to go. So now all I need to do is learn how to use the damn thing, because I've got no idea what all of that means. So some further research coming up. But there you go. I hope that helped you out. See you all later. Bye.